So I'm going to walk you through the process I went through when choosing my recorder / audio interface. Alright, well, the first thing is I've been recording everything up to this point on my phone. I was really tired of the not so great recordings that phones take, so I needed an upgrade. I thought it would be easiest to just use my microphone that I already have. I have a Shure SM58. It's a dynamic microphone. I figured if I could somehow maybe plug that into a computer, then maybe I could just, have a mic stand and put it next to the keyboard, and it would just, record better audio than my phone. So the first thing I did is I looked into whether it was possible to convert XLR to USB, and it is. They have cords out there. I ran across a random video that tested whether the cord that I ended up getting actually worked, and it showed that with dynamic microphones it seems to pick up some sound. Like if you go into the sound settings and you can see the green bars, it shows that it picks up some sound, but with condenser microphones it's not as good. Then you have to have phantom power, and you just got to hook up more stuff in order to get it to pick it up, and then when it does pick it up it's not as good. So dynamic microphones, I'm like, great, that's what I have. So I bought it and I tried it out, and it was not good. The video did not go over what the sound actually sounded like. It just went over whether it worked or not. Silly me. Well, I got to test it, and it gave this really loud, kind of high-pitched buzz. It wasn't like a normal background fuzz. It was different. And you can try and noise reduce that stuff, but it wasn't happening. It was bad. So that cord was pretty much trash. And I was like, okay, well, you can't do that. Maybe, is there, how do you go about recording a keyboard, And I knew that you could somehow use a digital audio workstation, a DAW, but I didn't know anything about how to use one of those. Those tools are really complicated and kind of scare me. And when I was looking around at this, I'm just like, this is really scary. So we're going to baby step it and just, maybe just have a better microphone or something and not deal with the software yet. So I went searching just for a way to record keyboard or piano, and basically everybody plugs it into something. Like you just don't record it live. But I did finally find a site. It took a long time, but I did finally find a site. It was called Sound Maximum, and it went through a bunch of microphones that were good for recording piano. It talked about how dynamic microphones, while it is possible to record them with live piano and it can sound good, it's typically better to use condenser microphones because apparently pianos are considered to have more delicate sounds and they have a large range of frequencies, and the condenser microphones are just better at picking up that kind of stuff. Dynamic microphones are normally very good for, you make a sound directly into the microphone and it's kind of loud, like right there. So if I wanted to use a microphone, I'd probably have to buy a new condenser one. And then I also saw people mentioning that, you may want to mic both ends of the keyboard too. I'm like, man, this is getting, I don't know, more, it was more than I wanted. It was more than I was asking for. So I felt kind of stuck. And one day I was talking to a friend of mine who also plays piano, and we were talking about music stuff, and I was telling him I was having a hard time, and he asked me my problems, and I explained them, and then he's like, oh, you just need an audio interface. I'm like, okay, I've heard of that. I did run across Shure's site that said that if you have a dynamic microphone, it's best to plug it into something like a mixer or whatever. And I was like, I don't have any clue what that is. So I asked him, I was like, can you plug in XLR to that? And so he's like, well, I have a suggestion for you. It was an audio interface that they had used at work a lot, because at work he's the audio video guy, as I call him. And it was Focusrite Scarlett, was it like Solo 3rd Gen, I think it was. And once I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, this makes a lot more sense. Microphone plugs into the little box plugs into the computer. Somehow that doesn't make the silly high-pitched buzz whatever sound. Cool. Well, something else I was wanting, this whole, like before this little journey of mine even started, I was wanting a portable audio recorder, because I like to record random little sounds, like, it could be rain, it could be a croaking frog, whatever. And, I've been doing that all on my phone. So I was already planning to get an audio recorder, and my brother has a Zoom H4n that he bought used, and I had him send me a comparison between his phone, his laptop, and the Zoom. I think just the built-in mics that it had, and it sounded way better on the portable audio recorder. So I was already planning to get one of those, whether it was the Zoom or not. And I ran across a site by Piano Dreamers, and it went over how to record keyboard. It explained what MIDI was, what audio was, what chords are used to plug in the interface and the keyboard, and how to keep everything balanced, and what's unbalanced mean. And it went over some DAWs. It mentioned audio interfaces. It also mentioned portable audio recorders. It said that a portable audio recorder may be a good thing if you are a singer that also plays an instrument. Hey, that's me. Because, they have the built-in mics, so you could use that for singing, and then you can plug in your keyboard. I'm like, great. That's perfect. It mentioned the Tascam DR40X and the Zoom H4n, which is now the H4n Pro. They made some upgrades to the H4n you can read about in a lot of places. So it'd be the Pro. And where am I? Okay, so I looked for, I'd found that those two audio recorders double as an audio interface. So I thought, this is perfect. I can get my portable audio recorder and I can get my audio interface in one. How great. So I just did some quick research on, what are some good portable audio recorders out there, and the Tascam and the Zoom, they're rated well everywhere. So I wanted to try and buy this by Black Friday to hopefully get a few dollars off of it, because why not? That's around when I'm shopping, so might as well just wait for the day. But I didn't have too much time left, and I decided that since these two were rated well, I would go ahead and just choose between these two. My brother likes his, so there's that for you. And then the Tascam people seem to really like as well. So the Tascam was $200. Their accessory pack is $30, which I would get because it comes with the AC adapter, and then I needed an SD card. The one I got is 8 gigs, and it's about $8. So we'll just round up to say 10. So so you got the 200, the 30, and the 10, and you got $240. I'm like, okay, this is really expensive. And then you look at the Zoom, and it's $230, and then a $40 accessory pack. and then my SD card. So you're looking at $280, $40 even more expensive than the Tascam. Like, oh my gosh. And then the Tascam has been on sale for months. I don't know, maybe it's always on sale for $180, and it comes with an SD card when you register and its accessory pack. So now it's $100 cheaper if the Zoom doesn't go on sale for Black Friday. But the Zoom comes with software. It comes with WaveLab, which is an audio editor, and it comes with Cubase, which is a DAW. I don't know when I'm going to use a DAW. I'll have to pick one out eventually. The Elements version of the WaveLab and Cubase are both $100 a piece, and getting versions above that are just, they skyrocket in price. So it seems like, you know, $100 more if you wanted the software, which I don't know, might be nice because I don't know what I'm going to use. So I could just start out using that one. So I don't know, it kind of it covers itself. And the Zoom did end up going on sale for $30 off, so you know, it wasn't $100 difference anymore, it was only $70. But anyway, so I had to choose between them. I did all kinds of research, looked up reviews everywhere, and at the end of it, I had a really hard time deciding between the two. They were really close. It was just, they were both really good. I didn't know how to pick. There was one downfall the Zoom had, and it was if you put in, it was the boot time. My brother, who has the, like I said, the non-pro H4n, he said it took his 35 seconds to start up, and he has a 16 gig card. I had read that if you put smaller cards in there, like 2 or 4, it would start faster, maybe like 15 seconds. So maybe this doesn't seem like a big deal, but for me it was a big deal because there's a frog that sits right under my printer downstairs, and when it croaks, it doesn't croak for very long. By the time that thing boots up, it's going to be done. I'm going to miss it every time, and I'm going to get mad. So I had to make sure that I get a small, very small SD card, and I format it in there because people say that helps too. And then I just clear it off when I'm done using it instead of letting it build up when I'm in the recordings. So I was researching those, and nobody wants a small SD card. They're expensive. 2, 4 gigs, you're talking $20, $40. Man, we're getting even more expensive. How great. This is already too much money. So I finally found, so you know, the Tascam is looking pretty tempting, right? But then I found something about the Tascam that I couldn't deal with. Someone did a test with a dynamic microphone plugged into the Tascam. Not as good as the Zoom. Why it's not as good, I don't know why they did that. But it's a lot noisier than when you plug it into the H4n. And I was like, well, I have a dynamic microphone. This thing's already expensive. I'm not buying a new one just for this recorder. So I decided on the Zoom. So I picked that. I waited to the date. It went on sale for $200 instead of $230. And you know, I'm looking for the SD cards, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just buy this one, $20 or $40. Man, this is so much money. I'm doing all this complaining, and my guy's like, is there another model that doesn't have this problem? It's a good point. It's a good question, because when I was reading about all the boot times and stuff, people had mentioned that the H5, the Zoom H5, and the Zoom H6 did not have these problems. So, alright, let's look at the H5. The H5 is $280 normally. It was on sale for $250. So, you know, $50 more. And for fun, they made the accessory pack $10 more. Now it's $50 instead of $40. You know, why not? and still got to buy the SD card. So we're well up into 300s now. And I went and did some comparisons between the H4n Pro and the H5. Let's see, they got rid of the locking XLR, which I didn't know if I cared about. Everybody said that it was really nice that they put them on the H4n Pro because it wasn't on the H4n regular one, the original. And I did a little bit of reading as to why this matters, and because I can't imagine that the cord is just going to spontaneously just pop out of the recorder, right? So, and I did some reading, and it kind of sounds like unless you're going to be moving around, then, if you're just going to be sitting there in one spot, which is what I would be doing, then I think it's fine. You're not going to have any problems if they're not locking. So I blew that off. It's not a concern. The H5 has less onboard effects. I don't care about that. The H4n Pro has, the built-in microphones, you can have them at 90 degrees for a smaller range of like recording, and then you can flip them to 180, and I guess that's supposed to have a wider range. I don't know if it really makes a difference. I don't know if I care about it, so I don't know. It has longer battery life. That's a plus. And then the top part, where the microphone is at the top, you can actually take that off, take the microphones off, and then you can put another top on. So what's cool is they have a top that has 2 extra XLR ports on the side. So that's neat, because if I got the H4n Pro, I could plug in my keyboard and record it, but any other sound around is going to get picked up if I'm singing at the same time through the built-in mics. So the thumps on my keyboard or whatever, right? But with the 2 extra inputs, I could plug in my keyboard and I can plug in my mic, and it should be a lot better. That's like the ideal situation. But that little add-on, $80. Where are we at now? $250 plus 80 plus 50 plus 10. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. Oh man, I did a lot of grumbling over this, and had a really hard time swallowing that price, but I just knew I was not going to be happy with the boot time of the H4n Pro. So I went ahead and bought that on Guitar Center's site on Black Friday. I was like, okay, I'm not happy with the price, but you know what? Got it. It's over. We're done, right? And I looked at Tascam, and it doesn't seem like they really have, at least not that I saw, they didn't really have the 4 XLR input options for their portable audio recorders. So, unless I found a whole new recorder, this is it. Like, okay, cool. So, grumble. And then my guy's like, is there a model that Zoom has that just does everything you want? I'm like, I don't know. So I went looking. Why not, right? And hey, guess what? They do. They have the H6. And the H6 has 4 built-in XLR inputs. You can still swap out the top if you want, but there's no need to, at least for this reason. And it was $330. Well, with the $250 plus 80 on the H5, I'm spending the same amount. So I went comparing the H5 and the H6, because they're the same price at this point. I was like, is it worth trying to cancel my order and order this other one and go through that whole ordeal? So the differences, they bring back the 90 degree to 180 degree built-in mic swivel thing. It has longer battery life again, however it has 4 batteries instead of 2. Supposedly it is better in the lower sound range. So I read that if you're recording outside sounds, it will sound closer to what you hear with your ears, more realistic. If that's true, then great, because I'll be recording some things outside with those microphones. And then it's bigger. So I looked up the measurements. Let's see. I have my phone, which is a Google Pixel 3, and you can see it has a case on it. So if I measure this with the case, it's pretty much exactly the same size as the H6. So I kind of already know how big it's going to be. It's just going to be thicker. I think the measurements were, what, 6 in height and 3 in width and then about 2 in diameter. So, inches. So yeah, so I was like, okay, size should be fine. And then, so I looked it up on Guitar Center site, and I noticed that the price was $300 and not $330, and I'm like, wait a second, Zoom forgot to update their site with the discounted price for the sale. So now I'm spending $30 more on my current purchase than if I would have got the H6. Well, now it's a no-brainer. So I went ahead and bought the H6 because now it's cheaper than the 5 with the add-on. And I had to wait till the H5 got here and then return it in the store. But yeah, that was my whole thing of finally getting to the H6. So here it is, my H6. Isn't it lovely? It makes me smile. So this is the hairy windscreen that comes in the accessory pack. I had read in the beginning that the built-in mics, like just the slightest bit of wind, it will render your recording useless. And I tested it, and it's not good. So this does help a little bit. I haven't tested it enough to see how much this helps, like in real wind and stuff, but it looks really silly. It makes me think of a troll. So I have a troll here, and then my guy suggested I put eyes on it. So here you go. So anyway, there's, so in case you're curious, this is the card I got. It's just SanDisk, 8 gig, SDHC. I don't know why I would need more than 8 gigs. I'll just clear stuff off, like I said. One thing I was wondering about that I had a hard time finding the answer to, that I found out when I got this, which I want to show you, is, so I'm going to turn it on. So just takes, like 5 seconds or so. So you can see here on the top right that it has a battery symbol. So it's using the battery right now. So what I wanted to know is if it was plugged in, is it going to, like, is it smart enough to not use the battery? Or how's this, I didn't know how it worked, if it's going to charge the batteries or what. But, so if I plug it in, you can see that symbol in the top right goes away. So it is not on battery anymore, which is cool. So I use it plugged in a lot so far. I haven't really used it hardly at all, just playing around with it. But I thought that was nice. I think the only other thing I'd like to show, I guess I could take the hair off and show you it bald. Here it is, much more sad looking. It actually looks kind of sad. I'm going to give you a comparison between my phone, the built-in mics, and plugging a microphone in here. So phone first. Hello world, how are you? I know this video is dumb. It's almost over. Bear with me. Then I'll do the built-in mics. I hope you notice the quality of this one being much better. You should be able to see why I'm happier, much happier with this than recording on my phone. And then I'll plug in a mic. And this should be maybe even slightly better, considering I'm hopefully not picking up too much background noise. My mouth is right on top of the mic. Okay, so hope this was useful. And that's all I got.